Today we are meeting with Jemuel from the company Social Impact Maker and with brand
Zuivere Koffie.
Zuivere Koffie. For not Dutch native, it's not the easiest
Correct.
name title to pronounce, but I'll do my best. And in the very beginning, because this brand of coffee, it's not usual brand, right? So you're making this coffee, and not only coffee, we'll talk about that. You're making that in the prison.
Correct.
Not far from Amsterdam, basically in Zaandam.
Yes.
Not only in Zaandam, by the way. Yeah, also let's discuss that. But that's not what usually people do, like opening a coffee roastery in the prison. How did you come to the idea, and what your personal story was before that, so we better understand how you actually even came up with that?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I think that goes a little bit back. I think everything started when I was 11 years old. I'm now 44 years old, turning 45 this year. But I came home. I'm from the city The Hague, so that's like the governing city of this country. And I come from let us say a special neighborhood. It's called Schilderswijk. So that's one of the toughest neighborhoods in the Netherlands. I think the toughest. Still
I'm coming from the country where the whole country is the toughest country in the Europe.
Correct. So we come from Russia, but then from the Netherlands.
I'm not from Russia, by the way. I'm from Belarus, but it's still tough.
It's tough. And this city used to be in the 70s, 80s, and 90s one of the toughest cities in the Netherlands. And I remember I came home on the 31st of December. It was, I think, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Which year?
Of when I was 11, so that's 33 years ago. So that's a long time ago. I came home and I found my mother crying on a sofa, sitting inside of our house. And I said to my mom, "What are you crying about?" And my brother was caught for like 20 crimes. He was a burglar, a theft. He was doing a lot of crimes, bank robberies. And then he was caught for 3 years to go behind prison. But I have to tell you, I was 11 years old. And he was only 15 years old. So you have to imagine the difference. We are only 4 years apart. And my mom was crying because we were raised without a father. And at this moment, my mom had very difficult because I was only 11 years old. And now we had to take care of all life situations. And so there started a little different journey than I think I wanted to have for my life. Because then I went to school. So at 12 years of age in the Netherlands, you go to high school, as we say. And in high school, you can have two choices. You can say, "Oh, my brother is in prison, so I'm sad and you have to be pity with me." Or I'll tell you, I'm a tough guy. My brother's in prison, don't mess with me. There's two different types.
Let me guess.
I took the second one.
Okay.
Yeah. So I became, at that time, now you would say maybe like a bully because nobody dared to fight with me. And I was really changing into something else. But I think I had the potential of becoming something completely different. And I started to go a different path. And as I now look back, the friends of my brother that weren't caught doing the crimes, because my brother took a lot of the crimes on his shoulders. So his friends were really thankful for that. So they took care of me as their little brother and also like as a father figure. And they teach me a lot of things, but not good things. Only
Do you
bad
have it on
things.
your CV now?
I don't have it on my CV now at this moment. I can look back with a smile, but I was, by following their guidance, I began with a young age, 12 years old, already into criminal activities. And the first time going into prison at 13 years old.
13 years old.
Yeah,
Wow.
so you have to imagine from my 13 year of age until 25, I did 6 times in prison.
I didn't even know that you can get to the prison at 13 years old.
Yes, definitely, yeah. If maybe it's a little bit quick, but if you look into the incarceration figures, so the statistics, the rate of people who are incarcerating and do recidivism, so they come back into prison, is 48% of adults, but the youth under 23 years old is 60+%.
Oh, it's almost everybody.
Almost everybody. And the percentage of people, youth, going back into prison is from 13 to 17 years old.
Wow. Wow, that's in Netherlands.
That's in the Netherlands, yeah, where we have like a good system to make some changes. Yeah.
So that was quite tough childhood. Did you get second chance at that age, or how you managed to get out of it?
No. It was very difficult to get second chances. There wasn't like a government really looking after for us. For me, I have to be honest. The government was not really like going after our family and trying to help us. So after a couple of years that my brother came out, I already been into prison. I did some prison time with him also together. So you have to imagine it was like a completely different lifestyle, and everything was about criminal activities or trying to gain more money or more status. I think a lot of people that go to prison, not everybody, but a lot of people do it because they want to become somebody and they want to also be somebody.
Like status thing?
Status thing, but also to, in the Dutch you say, participate. So they want to be a participant of community. And a lot of times when you do criminal activities, you are outsider. So you want to become a participant. You want to enjoy everything.
It's like a gang or something like that?
I started in a youth gang. Yeah, okay. I started in a youth gang in 13 years of age. That time was the Crips, a very good example. The Crips is one of the biggest gang communities in the world. It's very known from the United States. And in the years 90s, it was very popular in The Hague. And we had almost 700 to 800 gang members at that time.
Wow. Just from Den Haag?
Just from Den Haag, yeah. So it was very easy to come into the gang and also to commit crimes with the gang.
So basically, people, what you say, the kids, they wanted to commit the crime in order to participate you get the ticket into the membership in the.
That's it.
Where you're in, I believe it's not very easy to get out.
Get out, correct? Yeah. And when I was inaugurated into the gang, it was also now you are a brother. Now we take care of you. So it was also to become a participant of something again. Yeah. So that was very luring for me as a young teenager to look up to that. Yeah.
So, but you managed somehow, since we are sitting now, you're a businessman, successful businessman with some investors in the room. How you managed to get out of it?
Yeah, I think I have to go back to that time because it was very difficult to get out. So,
it's still 90s, right? We're talking about
still 90s, yeah. And when I was 16 years of age, I tried to have one job. And there was I go into the big merchant hall. It's called Vroom en Dreesman. Maybe some people know it from the Netherlands. And they have a small restaurant called La Place. So I solicited for a job to press oranges the whole day to make orange juice, fresh orange juice. So almost as good as the sparkling water at this place. So best sparkling water in Amsterdam, definitely. Cheers. And so I had a job for 3 months for people to go on vacation. And there was this young Amsterdam entrepreneur. He saw me. I have to tell you, I was 16 years of age. He was 21, 5 years older. Yeah. And he already sold at that age a sugar-free ice concept to Vroom en Dreesman restaurants. So a very sharp, young individual entrepreneur. He saw me. I worked with him for 3 months. And then he told me, you don't need to lead this lifestyle. You can do it different. This is my number. If you want to change your life, call me and I'll help you. So he wrote down his number. And the cool part, I can say, he still has the same number until this very day.
So are you calling him from time to time?
I'm calling him from time to time. And the cool part is that where I'm from, it's not normal to have longer than 6 months your telephone number because you want to change some things, because
security measures.
Security measures, yeah. And so I didn't call him when I was 16 because I had to go to prison a couple of more times to really understand that this was not the path that I wanted for my life. It really had to dawn into me. And I called him when I was 20 years old.
20.
Yeah. I called him. I just became a father. I had a son of 1 year old at that time. And then I called him. I said to him, why did you give me your number? Thank God he still had this number 4 years later. And I said, why did you give me your number? And then he told me, I see potential in you. And this was a word that I have never heard from nobody else. Not my mom, right? So that I would have potential to be something or to be somebody. So I told him, but what do you mean about potential? And then he said, I just want to offer you a job. That's it. I see the activities you do. I heard your story. I heard you're going into prison after each other. But I'm going to give you a job scooping ice cream.
But you at this moment already, you've been a couple times in the prison.
Yeah, I already went 5 times. Yeah,
you have status in the gang. It's all this status.
Everything is about status.
Scooping ice cream?
Scooping ice cream. So it was very difficult for me. Go scooping ice cream. And it was in a small nearby city called Rijswijk. It's near to the night. Rijswijk. In the Bogert has a small shopping mall. And it was very famous at the time. And it was only a shop of 6 square feet. So very small. He gave me a job. I started scooping ice cream. And it was for me the first time having a job, having something to go to, somewhere to go to. And also to be somebody. Because he was always asking me questions and how to make the business better. And one day, he decided to go for a month to Rimini, Italy. There was a big conference and he had to be there for ice cream. He had many shops. And then he left me together with 2 other people working in an ice cream shop. And after a month, he came back. And then we stocked all the money. And then he came to me and he was counting all the money. And he was going like, no, this is not correct. And then he counted the money again. This is not correct. Counted one more time. And I said, what do you mean it's not correct? Because I thought, I used to be a criminal.
Yeah,
what are you saying?
Something, right?
And he said, this is too much. And I'm going, look, too much? Do you think I'd put money from my own into your closet?
That was your second lesson about the managing expectations of your investors.
Definitely.
Don't overmanage.
Yeah, so I was going like, I did nothing. I didn't put money next to it. Yeah. But we found out that there was somebody else stealing all these years in his company. So with getting an ex-convict into his company, he found out somebody else was taking some money. So now he said...
You crossed somebody's road.
We saw it, yeah. And now this guy said to me, this young entrepreneur, he said, wow, I'm really going to give you a chance to become like I say in the Dutch, like a manager. But I have to tell you, the 6 square feet manager, it was a small company. And but I got some more, how do you call it? Responsibilities. So I started to really change. And a lot of my friends were going like, this guy is crazy. Why are you working in an ice cream shop? And my brother, I have to remind you, was still doing criminal activities until a couple of years ago.
With higher marginality, I can imagine.
High margins, making lots of dough. Yeah, lots of dough. And I was struggling for just a minimum wage, Yeah. But I wanted to have a different life. So there was already a mindset in my head, or maybe in my heart, that I decided to do it different. So he promised me that if I would do well, in 1 year, I could buy this shop from him and become like a franchisee. And I have to remind you, I was 20 years old at this time. So when he offered me this, I was really working hard, working 6 days in a week, sometimes 7, when the shops were open on Sunday, to really work and try to get on. And that managed for me not to have my life on the streets, but to have it inside a shopping mall.
Okay.
So 1 year later, I was very fortunate to have in the Dutch you call they don't have this anymore, but they call it anti-agaat. So it's like an anti-rich auntie that you have borrows you money. So somebody put money in with the bank, and then the bank did it as a deposit for me to buy this store of 100,000 guildens at that time. Yeah. Which was a lot of money, still is, right?
Absolutely.
And
whatever it means. Yeah.
But here we go. I have to tell you, I'm covered on tattoos. I had 2 golden teeth. I took them out a couple of years ago.
Oh, come on, man. That would be much better on video.
Yeah, correct. And I can remember red hair at the time, always dyeing my hair and stuff like that. It's really crazy.
Right? So it was much more fun, right? Okay.
So at this time, I really took this opportunity to take over the shop. and taking over the shop really changed my life, because I always say, it depends on who you go with, it's where you're going, right?
Yeah.
Tell me your 5 friends and I tell you who you are. And so people can also influence you on the good part, but also on the bad part. So I now went from influence of the bad part for influence on the good part, because now I was not hanging on the streets anymore with my gang.
Yeah.
But now I was sitting with other entrepreneurs, thinking about how we could make our business grow better, to have better margins, also grow a better company, right? But it was a good story until then, if I would kept it there, because I said in the beginning I did 6 times in prison, but I had 5 until I had this ice cream shop, because 1 year later I was able to buy it. And then one day I got a question from a guy who owns a big coffee company. And he came to me and he said, you were in prison, you were selling drugs and cocaine.
Yeah.
Can I get some cocaine for this weekend?
All right.
And then I'm a tough guy, so I'm not a pussy to say, no, I cannot do that for you. But I have to be honest, I can get it. It's not my life anymore, but I can help you. He said, no, it's only 5 grams to party, And he was wearing like a tie and a suit. So
I really understand that you met this guy later. He now is the director of the... No.
Yeah, we cannot go into that. It's a big
He was
company
promoted, I
in
hope,
Utrecht.
after this separation, right? So.
No, so he asked me. So for me, it was like, I don't want to do it, but I don't want to disappoint you,
Yeah.
So I called my brother. I organized 5 grams of cocaine. And then on Friday, I don't know if you have a coffee here, like a coffee stick with sugar. You always have sugar next to your coffee, right? It comes in like a stick.
Yeah.
But if you sell cocaine on the streets, you sell it in pony packs, right? Like small envelopes. Now you have to do like you don't know. So
Pony packs. Okay, never heard.
Never heard of this, something like this. Like a pony pack. So on Fridays he came, ordered a cappuccino. I put the sugar bag.
By the way, since we have video, guys, can you bring me a pack of?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That will be a good
show
part.
Everybody what is pony pack, because I cannot show it in any other way.
I think that will be a good one. Yeah. So this guy asked me to bring it. So on Friday afternoon, he would come.
Here we go. Yeah. That's the green and that's the black.
Yeah, perfect. So this one's open. Let us use this one. So in the Friday afternoon, he would come, and then he would order just a simple cappuccino to drink, and I would put a bag of sugar next to it. This is, I'm going to take it out because this is made from a pony pack. So this is normally the way that you would sell 5 grams of cocaine. Now we sell it for good things. So we use it to sell tea. It's made in the female prison, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So if you fold it, this will become just as a sugar. This is the way how you sell the cocaine.
In a safe way.
In a safe way. So it was on a saucer next to a cup of cappuccino.
Yeah.
He would drink it. He would put the sugar in his bag, in his pocket, as you normally did in the 90s and beginning 2000s. Everybody was, the sugar I can use at home.
Yeah. Especially this type of sugar.
Especially this type of sugar. Put it in his pocket. And then we didn't have PIN at that time, right? There was no company like at the end doing all the fintech things, right? To keep it tech minded. But everything was cash. So he would just pay a couple of 100 guildens, and I would put it in the register. He would go with the cocaine, and in the night I would take it out of the register, and then I made a little bit of money. I didn't need that money because we were selling thousands of ice creams in a week, so it wasn't necessary, but I helped him. So next Friday, he came again. Can I buy some cocaine? And then it went over and over for a couple of months. Yeah. And then also he invited some friends, and his friends bought it for me.
So
and
you
then
got the whole new product line in the cafe.
A new product line from an ice cream shop. Yeah. And that was never my idea or never my intention.
Yeah, I understand.
But one of the guys that came bought it for 2 times. He was very like a quiet guy.
Yeah.
And then one day I would do the 3rd time, put it on a saucer. Yeah. He would pay. And then he would say, "You're under arrest." So there I went as a young entrepreneur selling cocaine to a police officer incognito. and going to prison for 58 days as an entrepreneur and as a young father of 2 children.
Wow, that was crushing. I mean,
Crushing. And there I made like a vow to myself, an inner vow. I would never, ever put one foot in the prison again. That didn't work out. I was there this afternoon, but...
you built the whole company in the prison now.
The whole company. So, but it really changed my mindset. There I said, I will never, ever want to do something with police and justice department. Never. So my years went by and I really decided as an entrepreneur to really put my focus on my business. Also learning a lot about coffee in those years and becoming one of the baristas in the Dutch Barista Championships, traveling all around the world, just only focusing on coffee. I can tell you now why I wanted to have my own restaurant.
Okay.
But it was not possible because in the Netherlands, they go a backtrack and to see. And if you're not allowed to have a VOG, as we call it, like a declaration that you are, everything is fine, I couldn't have that because I was so many times incarcerated and with also a lot of violence and drugs and everything. They don't give it to you. So I had to stick with coffee. And I then from there grow on to become a coffee entrepreneur. But in the beginning of 2012, so there comes the answer to your question. I was sitting at home.
I was trying. The best guess I have so far. Actually, I don't need to ask any questions, right? So you're a wonderful storyteller. I'm just wondering, a small question.
Yeah.
How did you get this skill of storytelling? Was it in the prison, before the prison? Is it just genetics, or?
I used to be a good salesman, eh? So I think that's
not very good now. We know that you felt.
Oh, not so good. Not so good. Yeah, I was trying to be a good salesman. No, I think I shared my story for the past years through to many people, and just hoping that it will make a difference in the way people look at people who are incarcerated, and to give people who don't believe in second chances to believe in second, third, and maybe even sixth chances. That's the chances that I needed. I was in early 2012, I was at home and there was on BBC, there was a program called Gordon Behind Bars. I think everybody knows Gordon Ramsay, the famous chef.
Yeah.
And the cool part about his life story is that he didn't start out to becoming this great Michelin star owning chef. He started out in the UK having an older brother, also 3-4 years older than he was, who was addicted to drugs. And when Gordon was 15 years old, his brother already came incarcerated for a couple of times, and he was never getting out of drugs. And Gordon Ramsay was so afraid for his own life and his own future that he says, I'm not going to manage. If I stay in the UK, this is going to be my path. So he had like a similar struggle, you know? And then he made the decision to go to France and to study, to go to school, to go washing dishes in restaurants, to becoming the entrepreneur and the great chef as we know today. So
you got inspired with this story.
I really got inspired. So he went back to prison because he said, because of my brother, I want to give something back to society. I want to help people who are incarcerated because I really believe people deserve a second chance in life, right? And so he started the Bad Boy Bakery. It's a funny name for a bakery in the UK, in the London Brixton prison. And in this program, you can still see it on YouTube. If you go to look it out, definitely look it out. You can see that there are 2 guys working in this program with Gordon Ramsay. And one of the guys is really fighting against the prison wards who don't believe in second and third chances, because those guys are really being incarcerated for more than 20 times already at a young age. So he was really trying hard. And then you see Gordon Ramsay running to the prison ward for really fighting to give chances to these guys. And then there's another guy who is inside of the prison and he wants to get out. And the moment he gets out of prison, in 3 months before the show is aired, he's back in prison. So you see, there's like always a big fight in prison. How can you unearth change and get the opportunity to really change your life? So I was sitting on a sofa as an entrepreneur thinking, I have to do something with this, you know, not for now, but I want to do something with this later. And in 2014, I got a chance to take over this small 6 square foot 6 square feet. How do you call it? Coffee shop.
Coffee shop.
Yeah,
Okay.
very small.
2014.
Near to the station.
Yeah, okay.
Near 2014.
Almost 10 years ago.
10 years ago. And this guy told me, I have a great spot for you and this is something for you. And I said, okay, I want to do that, but I don't want to do it anymore as a regular entrepreneur. I think I've seen enough of the world. I want to help other people. So I decided to give people who are disadvantaged in life, give them a chance to also become somebody and to come to their full potential of their lives. So if I have to hire somebody, I prefer to hire somebody who was formerly incarcerated. So I gave somebody a chance, and within 3 months, this person has so much talent and potential. I called another company. I told them, listen, this guy is really good. He's good in mechanic with bikes and everything. I called.
But he wasn't in the prison anymore. He was
in prison anymore. He's an ex-convict, and I said, "This guy is perfect for you. Give him a chance."
Yeah.
And because I was known as an entrepreneur in the city, this company said, "Okay, let us give this guy a try." You know, and without knowing, in the first year, I helped six people.
Yeah.
From who were formerly incarcerated to have a job at this moment, and all the people came, wow, this is like really good statistics, you know, you're really helping people, and that came in the news. And then one day I got a contact to be in contact with a prison ward.
I'm sorry, prison?
A prison ward, so a director from the prison.
Okay.
And this is early 2015. And he called me, he said, listen, I'm hearing about the good work that you're doing, and I want to invite you to come to prison.
Was it from Zandam?
No, he's from the prison from Herugewaard. Yeah, because Zandam wasn't built yet. Yeah, Herugewaard. And then I said, oh, his name was Frans. I said, oh, good to hear from you, prison ward. I have seen a prison many times, just like you.
I have some principles I cannot. Can we meet on the parking slot?
Yeah, correct, something like that. And then I said to him, I have this nice coffee shop. I know it's small, but we roast fresh coffee every day. So why don't you come over one day from prison? And he was going like, no, I'm really busy. Why don't you come to prison? I said, already been there a couple of times. So it went 4 to 5 times. But what he didn't understand, in the Dutch, you call that detention damage.
It's very Dutch.
It's very Dutch. Yeah, so it's like you can be damaged also for being detained.
So it's like trauma.
It's trauma. It's traumatic. Yeah. So I didn't want to go there because I can remember in 2009 going on vacation.
So it's not a joke. It's
not a joke. It's
physically feeling bad.
I didn't want to go to prison again.
Yeah.
So in 2009 I was going on vacation with my family to Aruba, and I came to the airport of Schiphol. And the marechaussee, I don't know if that's also the same way you say it, detained me because they changed the law in the Netherlands. In 2009, they changed the law, and I think it's a good thing that they changed the law, that everybody who was incarcerated for heavy violence, they have to give DNA if you leave the country. Because if you kill somebody,
they need to find you somehow.
They need to find you somehow. So I think it's a good thing.
And
but,
you
were
not aware.
Right? I was a changed young man, father of 2 children, now an entrepreneur, talking about 2009, going to Aruba, where I'm from, to have a vacation, and they arrested me. Because that's the law, that you cannot give it freely. They have to detain you and arrest you. So they arrested me in front of my family, treated me like bad, and put me in a room. And there I had to wait for 2 hours, but my flight was leaving in 2.5 hours. No phone, nothing. And then they said, no, you have to shut up, stay in the room, and this is because your life. And they were like
what
talking.
Was it? It was
2009.
Okay. Yeah.
So I said, listen, I know you understand. You have to take this, but you don't have to treat me like a dog, because I'm still a human being. I changed my life. I can give it to you, of course. This is the rules. I'll stay quiet. But inside, I was already like a little bit cooking, because I wanted to do different things. Yeah. But I was thinking, maybe violence and police and detention, there will not be a good thing if I would now act differently,
Yeah.
So I stayed quiet, almost missed my flight for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. They were really calling. I had to run all the way to the gate to have the same flight.
And all the time your family just has been waiting for you, right? So,
and I was treated bad. And I was going like, wow, how can you treat me like this? I already did my crime. I already did my time. Yeah. So why are you still holding it against me? Yeah. So they let me go. This was really something in my mind. Also, when this prison ward was telling, come to the prison, I was going, no, I'm not coming back to that. So, genoeg geweest. So one day I told him, no, you come to me. And then he was going, no, you have to come. I'm really busy. I really want to talk to you. Come. So I said, you know what? I will come. I took my 35-minute drive to Herengewaard, parked in front of the parking lot, called my wife. You can call her now. I said, listen, baby, I love you. I'm here, Copernicusstraat, number 10. If there's something, you know I'm here. Just because I was so traumatic that something would happen unto me. So I came into the prison, and it was the first time to talk to a prison director when you have done nothing wrong. Because normally you only talk to the prison director if you have like a report, you did something wrong, you know?
And not in Belarus, like
yeah, here. So I came into the prison, and there I met this crazy guy. This guy was saying like, seeing the prison as a place of recovery. And I was going like, what time is it? 10 o'clock? Are you drunk already? You know?
It never was, right?
Never was. How can you call the prison a place of recovery? And then he says, yeah, you have to look at like a key. You know, you can close doors, but you can also open doors with them. Like, okay, this is profound, you know? So I started talking with him, and everybody called him Frans. That's his name, Frans.
Yeah.
But you never call a prison ward by his first name.
Was also unusual.
Unusual. So I see young people.
And his last name was Douw?
Douw, Frans Douw.
I was just checking my notes. He just called me yesterday asking me to come by, but I was busy.
Okay. You have to go. I think you have to go. And stay a night. We'll arrange for you to come. So Frans invited me to come. And when I was walking with him through the prison, people who are incarcerated for lifetime also called him Frans. So there was something different about this guy. And I was telling him about like, yeah, we're opening our second store and helping people who are formerly incarcerated. And he was going like, yeah, whatever, you know. I said, how do you mean whatever? Aren't you proud that we are like doing this? He says, no, yeah, of course I'm proud. But why don't you go deeper into the problem, closer to the problem, and why don't you do it inside of the prison?
Basically closer to the roots of the problem, right?
And then I knew he has to be drunk, yeah? To call a formerly
maybe
criminal.
He got very good sparkling water, you know.
Very good sparkling water. So the good thing that this Frans saw, that he was really seeing an opportunity for somebody who was incarcerated for many times to go inside of the prison, to work with this company, and to help people who are incarcerated from inside of the walls. And this was really in 2015 that we started. Crazy. It still is. We are the only one in the whole world operating as entrepreneurs.
Is it true, actually, right?
This is
in
true.
the whole world.
In the whole world.
I read in several sources that.
No, you can Google it. Yeah. There are some very good companies that have around the prison and work with people who are incarcerated, definitely, but
like
they have to go out.
You did in the beginning, right?
Like I did in the beginning. But we are the only one who went inside and also not paid by the government, not paid by the prison system.
Commercially successful.
And to do it as an entrepreneur. I think that also makes all the changes why we are successful. Because when we started, nobody could tell us what to do or how we would do it or how our approach would be. So I got from the very beginning the freedom to really talk one-on-one with every guy or girl that works with us to help them further in life. And that's where Zuivere Koffie was born a couple of years ago.
You said that it was in different prison, but
this was
Frans
still
now works as a head. I don't know how it's called again.
He used to work at Herengewaard.
Now he's in Zandam.
No, he's now pensionado.
Pensionado. Okay.
So he quit, and after him came a prison ward who wanted to have nothing to do with people who were incarcerated. So there you also see the
It's very. I had one of the
gap
questions
of
that
time.
actually was it about like personality of the France, like why it all
100%.
made
100%.
possible,
100%.
right?
Yeah, it's like a door that opened, and after his.
Okay, so that's something new. All right, let's maybe start in the beginning. So in the beginning, you got these roasters there, just in the prison. Can you tell?
I started with one roaster. Yeah.
With one roaster.
One roaster in the back of my car.
Can you take us back there, like how it was technically possible? Like they are detainees, they are now in the prison, right? So
Correct. Yeah.
I can assume there is some special control over the people there, right? So, and you need to.
No, they just let me
pick
go.
them?
No, they just let me go. I started as a pilot
Yeah.
with one coffee roasting machine, a small one, 1 kilo batch coffee roaster in
Yeah.
the back of my car.
Yeah.
Took it inside, and then there was like a department when they, I don't know how you say, lasers.
Lasers.
No, like lasers, like welders. Welders. You can learn to be a welder to work with metal.
Okay.
And they have this special air ventilation. So it's the same ventilation that you can use for the coffee machine. So we put the coffee machine under, and I just started with 2 people who are incarcerated, no program, no
How
manual.
did you pick them?
Sorry?
How did you pick them?
No, they
those
just gave them to me.
Okay.
No, there was no order picking at that time. Yeah, so no selection. I just got them, and
Okay, that's
here
how you
go.
started.
That's how I started. And there were 2 guys who only had 6 months left, so I just started roasting with them, coming 2 days in a week, talk to them. It's not about making coffee. We have a production company of tea and bakery, and also a coffee roasting plant. But it's just a vehicle, just a way to get in touch with the people who are incarcerated, to also talk about their potential. So this is what I did. We were roasting coffee, and then I had 8 hours a day to talk to them. Hey, where you're from? What is your background? What is your specialty? Where do you want to go in life? There's one question that almost everybody who's incarcerated never ever thought about.
Can I guess?
Guess.
What's your dream?
What's your dream?
I read your interview.
Cool. But that's it. What's your dream? So imagine.
Tell me
maybe
what they're
you.
answering. You in this interview you didn't say that. So.
They 9 of the 10 times they don't have an answer. They start smiling because they never thought about it. And then I have to tell them the second question. If there's anything you could become, anything, if money or whatever is not a problem, what would you do tomorrow? And then you always see like a smile. But then you hear crazy stuff like, oh, I want to become like a baker. Big tough guys, all tatted up. Want to become a baker, never baked in their lives. So we see things are that people that have like dreams, that maybe in the youth, dreams are also killed.
All right, so let's still want to get a little bit more in technicalities of the whole story,
Yes,
right?
yes.
How it's technically possible to operate that in the prison, right?
Yeah.
So now you have more than one roaster. You have
Correct,
a couple dozen already, probably, right?
Yeah, no, we have now 6 roasting machines. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
There, it's geographically it's in Zandam,
It's Zandam.
Judicial complex, right? It's not
It's
far
the
from Amsterdam.
biggest Dutch prison. Yeah, biggest prison in the Netherlands.
It's quite modern, also, right?
It's very modern, the most modern prison at the time. Doesn't mean it's a beautiful prison, but it's modern.
It has nice view on eye.
If you really look far like this, I think it's more the North Sea Canal. But inside of the prison is around 30,000 square meters.
Okay.
And every maybe for people who don't know how the prison works, you have to work in the Netherlands a couple of hours a day in prison.
It's just mandatory for you, right?
It's mandatory, yeah. And they changed the law a year ago, so now it's not anymore, but then they still put some hooks so that you still have to do it. So let us say that it's mandatory. But it's also good because you want to come outside of your cell to also work. So you go into your workplace. But we have 26 prisons in the Netherlands. And let me see if I can see it really quick. You have the tubes, right? Where the electricity or water goes. And there you see the small things going inside the wall to keeping the tube attached, yeah? Those things are made in almost every prison in the Netherlands. It's connected to each other. So it comes from China. And then here, people do it inside of the prison, put the screws together, put it nice into a box. And then I think this work is good for a lot of people. but it really doesn't give something to look forward. What are you going to do after that?
After, yes.
So when we started with our coffee roasting plantation or plant, it was the first time we are also giving like scholarships. We are giving value work for them to do. So we have in the prison system, we call that a stoplight model. So we have green, orange, and red. So green means your behavior good.
For some time, I believe, right?
So you have to have it for a couple of months. Yeah. And red means you have a not so good behavior. Yeah? So when you are red, you're not allowed to do a lot of things. You're also not allowed to work in our coffee plant. You have to have a good behavior because we can help you after you are incarcerated, but we can only help you if you are motivated, behave, and really want to change things.
So it's some kind of, you need to see commitment from them, right?
Real commitment, yeah. So we started a couple of years to really growing with every year one roasting machine bigger.
Okay.
And really about teaching them to become a good roaster, but also a good barista. And also look around, because we had our own shops, but also look to other companies who is going to give them a chance when they are released from prison.
So you've been acting like an agency also, to some extent,
We've been
right?
acting to a great extent, I think. Yeah, to a great extent. Yeah, and that's a lot of things that we do from the heart. I can really say that with proud after all these years, that we never ask money to do this, not from the government. We just ask people, if you really believe in second and third chances, buy our products, then we can help people who are in prison and also when they're free.
Okay, so who is picking people now? How many people working, by the way?
Around 70 at this moment.
70. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Who was speaking? Who was running interviews? Is it you?
No, not anymore. Not anymore. I used to do them all, but we have a colleague who's working as a production quality manager inside of the prison. It's a lady. Her name is Lisanne. She used to work for Tony Chocoloni here in Amsterdam. And we have 4 people who are in staff in the Minister of Justice to really look for the governance. Is everything safe? Is everybody doing their job? But we are still the one as entrepreneurs going every day inside and outside to talk to them to see if everything works good. Because it's a very tough job. I think every company is difficult to have work with staff. Imagine staff who is incarcerated.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends who are running IT companies here in Amsterdam. They're complaining, oh, it's impossible to manage, this creative stuff or IT stuff. I can imagine how it's difficult to manage this stuff.
Really difficult, yeah. And it's also like a big change, because not everybody is incarcerated for 25 years. We have people who are in there for 6 months. We have people who are there for 2 years. And it's really difficult to manage and plan that. So you have to imagine sometimes 3 of your best bakers or 3 of your best roasting guys leave. And then I always call the lawyer and the family, please let them stay 1 year longer, But never worked. So this is also very difficult to manage because it's also part of the type of organization that we are.
So you don't have production outside of the prison. Everything in the prison.
Every production is inside of the prison. Yeah, and we also want to keep it this way. Yeah.
And also you work not only in Zaandam, but also I cannot name it.
In Nieuwersluis.
Nieuwersluis.
Yes, and that's a female prison. Prison. One of the 3
what
female
do you do there?
Yeah, we have a production of tea. Okay. So this the special pony packs,
right?
Yeah. So it's still now going by the name of Guilty, but we're doing a rebranding into Zuivere Koffie very soon, because we also want to change the way. This is of course something nice to hear, pony packs and cocaine, but we really want to give something for the people also to be really proud about. And it doesn't have to be like a little bit schemy. So what we do is we import the team ourselves, and we're now looking for also to have our own plantation in the future to plant. We really found a week ago.
Where?
No, to do it inside of the prison of Nieuwersluis.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, we found in the Netherlands a farmer who developed in the past years a perfect tea plant. It's a little bit farther in Limburg. Yeah, it's near to the Belgium border.
I know only one tea farmer in Netherlands. So probably
There's one, yeah. Maybe it's the same.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the same. So I went to look there because you want to have as many of production you have in prison, because the more people you can have on your payroll inside of the prison, the more people you can help. Yeah.
Okay. So altogether, you have, including this tea production, how many people you have?
We have 70 people.
70
people. Yeah.
Also, I read somewhere that you have a pledge to help by 2025.
500 people.
500 people.
And you're helping because you bought today. So
I bought the whole bag. Right?
Yeah, so this is our goal that we have in our hearts, and I think it has to go beyond that. But we want to help as many as people who are incarcerated, because it's not only the people who are incarcerated that you're helping, but you're also helping the families, the children that are surrounded to many of the people. Yeah. And to give you an imagination, there are 10,000 people incarcerated today. So in a year time, if we say how many people get out of prison, it's much more than that, because people are also incarcerated from 2 to 8 months. So you have it's turning. So it's 25 to 30,000 people coming outside of prison.
Yeah.
But 10,000 are incarcerated right now. 48%. So let us just to make maths easy. 50% of the people who are coming outside of the prison are coming back. And now is a question for you. In how many months?
Okay, let me guess. 6. Any guesses? 2 months. What is
okay, sorry. In how many weeks?
Okay, 6 weeks.
Okay, sorry. In how many days?
Oh, really?
72 hours.
Wow. Yeah.
35% of the people who are released are getting back into prison. And you know why this is a statistic?
Because they don't have anything to do outside of these walls, right? They cannot reintegrate, right? They don't have a craft.
No, you go back to the place where you were last caught. So you go back to your friends in Belarus.
If I would do that, I will be definitely detained, right? So that.
And you have to imagine, we have a guy who is now working with us for 5 years. He's also incarcerated again for an old crime he committed in 2015.
Okay.
Because he was caught for 2 crimes, and one he already was into prison for 2.5 years. And one, after so many years, he still had to go back for 6 months. He's still working with us in our company. He was incarcerated 2 weeks ago. When he came out 2.5 years ago, the guy who he was dealing drugs with was supporting his wife and children for 2.5 years. Rent, money for gasoline, and food. Then you come out, and then he goes okay, Stefan, you're out now, so we're going to do some crimes again. No, I want to work with Zuivere Koffie. I want to really change my life. What do you think his answer would be?
No, doesn't work.
It doesn't work like that, But he still made this good decision to do this. So this is tough. So you have to. So he has Zuivere Koffie, but many people don't have Zuivere Koffie, and they go back and they were helped throughout the years, and then you have to repay them in a way, and maybe not in the same amount of money, but to do crimes with them.
With some service, right?
Yeah, if you can sleep on my couch, of course. I'm going to do some crimes tonight. Do you think you're going to stay watch Netflix? No, we're going to go outside. We're going to do the crime together, right?
Okay.
So this is often how it goes. Crazy statistics, huh?
That's
72 hours.
Overall, the thing you are doing, I think it's incredible, right? I think people here in the room supporting that. So that's not only about from business side. I think it's quite successful. We can talk about that, right? About this, but the whole story. I never heard anything like that. And
thank you.
I met Zuivere Koffie for the first time at the conference, the Next Web, last year. We have some people from the Next Web. In the past, in the Next Web. Hey, Patrick. And I never heard about that. So for me, I'm not big coffee drinker. I'm buying it just because it's a good story. I'm not sure if I'm going to drink it because I'm not drinking coffee, right? But tea is a good story, right? So
we'll give you a subscription when we go to have coffee. Then you just give it away every time you have it.
Yeah, it's a good thing to present. So last weekend I bought a pack and brought to the friends, right? So it's a good. And
I think
I brought it there, and I had the whole story to tell.
Perfect. Yeah, we see often that it works like that, and we're really thankful for that because it shows us that there's like a shift going on in society.
Yeah.
Because 10 years ago, I would never imagine for me to sitting here and sharing this story, and that people would really love it and saying, "Oh, it was a completely different life at that time," you know. So I think it's also a change in society.
Do you see, like I don't know, some change in the companies who are hiring those people?
Definitely,
like 5 years ago and now, I think you're also contributing to that. So they're not afraid anymore, right? So
yeah, of course they're always a little bit like suspicious because if I call you. You and me, we have the same skill set. And we would now do something like an application for the same job. Same age, not the same background. And we would go for the solicitation and we have a conversation. And then you would say, yeah, Belarus and everything. And I would say, yeah, I was formerly incarcerated. Then we would both walk out of the room. And how many percent do you think that you would get the job or I would get the job?
Of course, I have bigger percent, but not because of this. I'm changing. Of course, you will get the job right now because you're a much more popular person than me. Right?
but you have to imagine that a lot of people don't get a job because they're incarcerated.
Just because of that.
But now I have a question for the room. If you are incarcerated, there's a judge. Yeah, you committed a crime.
Yes.
You go to the court, and then there's a judge, and this judge decides 1 year. Bam. This is your sentence, right?
Yes.
So when you walk outside of the prison, you are a free man or a free woman.
Supposed to be, at least.
Supposed to be. Now comes when you're incarcerated, it starts like a whole new sentence, but now not longer to Minister of Justice, not longer to the court or to the lawyers or to the judges, but now to society. Because so I already did. I did my time. So why now there would be a difference between you and me if I was like incarcerated for 1 or 6 times? There's no difference. If there's a skill set, which is the same, maybe I would work even harder than you because I really would need this chance, but you would still get this job. And this is something that maybe takes 20, 30 more years to see. But what we do see is we see a change that there's more about, not about us anymore, but we're also caring about other people. And now we're really starting to believe that people are not the persons, they are not the crime that they have committed. They are still fathers, sons, brothers, mothers, sisters.
And a lot of cases they did it unintentionally even, right? So by
and
mistake,
a lot of them,
so I can...
Yeah, or even wrong decisions.
Also, yes.
But those wrong decisions have to come from somewhere. The last time I checked, I have 2 children. I'm also a grandfather of a granddaughter of 2 years old.
You're really a grandfather?
I'm a grandfather, yeah. I'm 44 years old, so I'm a young one. I don't think my granddaughter of 2 years old decides, I'm going to become a criminal. I want to go to prison. No, something has to happen in her life to start thinking different about herself. Because if you're broken from the inside, you start also to react and act broken from the outside. You don't go to prison because you like that. I went to prison because my brother was going into prison for many years. We were alone, and there were only people who were criminal activities. And my mom, who was very broken, started to beat me as a young boy because she had a lot of pain, a lot of anger. She didn't know how to deal with it. So all this pain and brokenness come inside me. So I had to also get it out. And I got it out in different ways. I couldn't channel it. And there was nobody mentoring saying, listen, you can do this different. And I think a lot of people forget that sometimes you take a wrong exit in way. Not because you want to, but sometimes because you're forced.
Basically, because of different circumstances.
Yeah, and not everybody. Yeah? Because in my family, my father has passed away a couple of years ago, but I have different brothers from another mother, you say. So they have different mothers for me. And from the 4 of us, 3 were always incarcerated, always into fighting, always into problems, 3 of us. And one became a very high corporate, how do you call it, general in the police department, officer of the police department in Curacao. So he went with the same problems, with the same pain. He took a different decision to do. And I think that is very strong. Yeah. And I really admire him for that. But it's not often that we all can make those decisions.
Can we talk a little bit about the business part
of course.
of it, right? So you bootstrapped the business, right? You didn't have investors in the very beginning, or did you?
Yeah, bootstrapped. I had never heard that word, bootstrapped. Can I have some Dutch translation for that? Yeah. Started. So I started it. Yeah.
Like without any external investment?
Yeah. No. I didn't have an external investment. I started from my own. And the cool thing to say also, because Patrick is in the room, I wanted to start my second shop. And I needed money for the second shop. And I thought I found an investor for that.
Yeah.
And I when I say investor, it's not like investor of today. Yeah. We're talking about €5,000 at that time of somebody helping me to buy this coffee machine. And I can remember I was having opening the shop. I already, as an entrepreneur, took some risk. So I already rented the second place. And then I was doing all the mechanics on my own with my 2 left hands. And then I can remember I was on the stairs doing the ceiling. And then I got this phone call from this guy. And he's saying, how are you doing? And it was 10 o'clock in the night. I said, no, I'm not doing so well because this guy told me he was not helping me. And I'm already opening in a week. And then he says, yeah, but what do you need? I said, I need to buy a new coffee machine. And what's the amount of that? Yeah, that's €5,000. He says, you know what? I'm going to help you. I believe in what you do. I believe in your vision. I really support it. So I'm going to wire this money to you and then just see it as a long-time investment. If I get it back, it will be great. If it ever turns to something, maybe you can make me like a shareholder, 1%, So this was early 2015. Because of that wiring of that money, the next morning, I could buy this coffee machine, opening my second store. So this was the first time for me to really see how it's good to have help from outside and that you need money to grow your business. And I have to be honest, I wasn't thinking in the terms of growing business. I was just wanting to help people and then with shops I could help people,
So that was very beginning. That was
very
first
beginning.
5K investment.
First 5K investment. And that was Patrick.
That was Patrick.
Okay. Yeah. And so this is the cool part because he didn't know that we were going to talk about this. But one day, one day he called me and then he said, this company in Amsterdam and you roast fine coffee. Why don't you come over and maybe we want to buy your coffee. We have a good coffee machine and you're a good barista and roast it fresh. So at that time, I didn't own a car. I had a scooter. So I put all the coffee, still hot, in bags on the scooter. And I was driving from Zaandam to Amsterdam with my helmet. And then this is really funny because I came into this company. And I always say people were lying on the ground. But that's not completely true because this was a tech company. So there were people like relaxing and sitting with their laptops and having these things on their ears. And I'm used to people being in the office working like this. And somebody was standing and somebody was lying down on these big bags. It was
Office of the Next Web.
Office of the Next Web.
Yeah.
So I was really like surprised. So I said to this guy, Patrick, how do you make money doing this? Because,
do you need a good manager, maybe?
Yeah. Because it looks so quiet and it's like silent, like people are like on social media or stuff. What is this, So I brought 10 kilos and I think a couple of days later he said, yeah, it's already finished. Can you bring 10 kilos more? So I started to bring coffee to the Next Web. And at this time, I really didn't understand what this company was all about. But Patrick was one, as a co-founder of the Next Web, really giving me also my first corporate client. And I have to be honest, I didn't treat it as a corporate client.
No.
Now I do. Now I do. Many years later. So I was really thankful for giving this opportunity to grow also this coffee. And Patrick became one of the guys who helped me from the very beginning, before a company became the enterprise that it is at this moment, to also look different at the business type and to seeing the potential, but also giving the advice how you need to change things to get to a bigger crowd, because if the story is great, but nobody knows about it, how you can get people involved. Yeah. So the past years have been really tough, not even Corona, but also coming in the news, going to television stations, radio, doing podcasts, doing a lot of things, but never ever gaining this great community for people to get, because you couldn't find us, because we have a website since 2 years, I can say proudly. Patrick's first advice was you have to build a website and build a web shop. So I did. I made a website. I built a web shop. No advertisement, nothing. We had one customer, that was me, doing the test, buying the first 250 grams. And there it stayed. So I said, this internet thing, 2015, is not working. I don't believe in internet. A lot of things changed. So I do now believe, and I see the strength of internet. And then I started in a couple of years ago to really look for investors. So we did 2 different things. We did an investment round with convertible loans with a couple of investors, all buying 1% of our stock in our company. And with that money, we could grow something. And we did a successful crowdfunding 2 years ago. 2000 end of 2020, as a crowdfunding as a target 200,000, and we aimed for 400, and we raised 280,000 euros. Yeah, and of course that's a lower that you sometimes hear of DOT and all the big companies getting millions and millions, because I think in the tech scene that's like different amount of money that you can raise, because there's also a lot of money to be made if it's successful. And I think it's also difficult for people to really give their money for people who were formerly incarcerated. I think that's still also a little bit of difference.
But I've checked this, your crowdfunding, and the biggest pledge was 25K.
Correct, yeah.
And 3 people did it.
Correct,
right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't equity they've been getting, right?
No.
So when you're doing this for equity, it's obvious. Well, what they've been getting for 25K?
1%. At that,
okay,
not now anymore. Yeah.
Okay, so
it's a little bit changed now. Yeah.
Valuation is growing. Right?
Yeah, it's now 80,000 for 1%. Yeah. So as a new valuation.
Do we have mathematicians in the room?
Because I wanted to ask, who of you would invest if it's a crowdfunding or another type of way, not as a pledge, but to do this to help people who are incarcerated, because your money goes to helping people who committed crimes. Patrick?
But he did it.
He did it. But are there any more hands? You can be honest. If there's no hands, I completely understand, because this is also the tough part, Because if we say, we're building a solar car, people As well, yeah.
But Patrick just investing.
Correct. No, but I think that's it's a difficult way of investing. And you were mentioning the people who did 25 was really a surprise, because there was also somebody that invested that had nothing to do with people who are incarcerated. And this person told us why they invest. And because of one experience 100 light years ago.
Oh.
And they said...
So there's some personal story.
Personal story. And they said, this is so great what you're doing. And we know it's so difficult to do this. So I really want to help you with this. So it's really cool to see that a lot of people that helped us didn't do it to have a personal gain on it. They really did it from the heart to help out and to really see it go through and getting further. Yeah.
Guys, we're gonna have opportunity to ask few questions from the audience. So prepare your questions while you're getting ready.
And while we have a sparkling water.
While we still, you don't have, right?
No, I'm waiting for the sparkling water.
Yeah. Enough. So I just wanted to understand: Do you see some other companies, some other guys who are approaching you with same ideas? Maybe they have some other businesses. I, for example, read that in Zaandam there is a future builders.
Yeah,
some
it's
kind of store.
also ours. Yeah,
that's also yours. You have bakery.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
you just got this monopoly for all businesses in the prison, right?
No, I think there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of companies. There have been a lot of companies that approach the prison system because they think, oh, it's cheap labor. We're going to do it like this.
By the way, people getting money there, right?
People getting money.
And they're working 4-hour shifts.
They're working 4-hour shifts, yeah.
Okay, so they're getting paid, I think,
less paid than we would pay in a normal salary.
So it's true that it's a little bit cheaper, right? So
it's way cheaper if you make those things on the wall.
Yeah.
It's way cheaper. But if you do a high quality product that you really need to invest
some craft, which you need to learn.
Really craftsmanship, it's cheaper to do it outside.
Explain, it's not obvious. Why?
Because you can buy a big coffee roaster of 60 kilos.
Good.
Then you would have
capacity.
Big capacity. Yeah. Huge. Then you can do 60 kilos every 10 to 12 minutes. Then I would need maybe 1 or 2 guys that roast. I need a couple of guys to package all my coffee, and that's it. But if you decide you take 6 roasting machines of only 1 or 2 kilos, you need more staff.
And that's what you do.
That's what we do. But ask me why we do it.
That's a good question. Why are you doing that?
Trying to help you a little bit. Because it's all about teaching craft. It's all about giving somebody their potential back. So it's not about packaging.
Business purpose, no economic purpose. It's basically the mission of the company can be fulfilled better with a small capacity, right?
That's not only better, but also helping people. Because it's very difficult to help people just packaging coffee. But if I learn you how to make...
No difference from that one.
No difference from that one. But if I can teach you to become a barista...
Yeah.
And if there's any company that need a barista tomorrow, we are the one that can deliver that.
Yeah, and jokes aside, there's much more companies who need barista than somebody who needs a guy who was able to roast on 60 kilo big machines, right?
Correct, yeah. So this is one of our reasons. But because there's also a great amount of people leaving the prison, we have to train again. And all the time and expertise and money that goes into training another group of people that were all going to stay for 6 to 12 months is very expensive.
That's your social corporate responsibility part, which you pay.
Yeah.
Like basically tax, which you pay. Do you get any support from the prison, from the government, from nothing?
No.
So they don't value it. Hey, Mark.
Yes, they value it. They just don't know how to pay it
I'm not sure
out.
if Mark is watching us, but
yeah.
Okay. Right, so, I mean, Ruto, I don't see that.
Oh, yeah. No, it's I think it's a difficult one because on the one side, you don't want to be paid for doing this work. So to set apart, yes, you need to be paid normally, looking from the outside, but it also makes you dependent.
Yeah.
And now because we are free, we can do whatever we want. And now we can put in the time and effort that we want to do.
So probably you don't want to be paid.
And now after all these years, we don't want to be paid for that. Yeah.
Okay.
So we want to do it on our own, but we want people to value it by buying our coffee. Because our coffee is specialty coffee, one of the best coffees in the Netherlands. Same as you can drink here.
Yeah.
Very good specialty coffee. So in that purpose, it's the same. It's just the way it's produced and what it's gaining out of all those kilos of coffee is giving people second chances in life.
As I said,
makes it different.
I don't drink coffee, but I keep buying it, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna,
for some reason, right?
Yeah, we're gonna change you a little bit. Yeah.
So subscription, I think it's a good idea, subscription based, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Like everything subscription based is good. But so just getting back to the initial question about other companies coming.
Yeah, definitely.
There is no established route for other companies who want to, like, let's say, give a chance for such people.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a possibility.
You
but
built
you have
this
to,
route. You invented it.
Yeah,
right?
you have to have patience because it took us 7 years to come at this point. Yeah. So working with government is always difficult because they have like different timelines and different way of doing business. So it's not easy for a company to come and say, oh, tomorrow I'm going to come inside and then we'll do everything. I saw them come and I saw them go because it's very difficult to invest a year and a half without making money or maybe even losing money, then you go like, yeah, I don't want to work with this guys. It's too tough.
It's about managing expectations. I think, like
Also,
for me, it sounds like obvious thing that you can build some kind of hub there. You have hubs in universities, like high-tech hubs, right? So basically, you can, since you know how to do that, you know how to pick the people, you know how to talk to them, right?
Correct,
so you basically, you can build this agency which you tried in the past, right? Or you can build the hub for the companies, help businesses to come in, right?
Correct, yeah. And that we do that at this time, but we do it with a catering company. So we work with one of the biggest catering companies of the Netherlands, and that we often invite inside to meet the guys that we trained and for them to give them a job. And they're working now at big companies here, so also in Amsterdam. So.
And you also, like today, you told me some story about some consulting companies.
Today.
What do you do with them?
Yeah, today we had 20 people over from a famous accountants company called Baker Tilly here in the Netherlands, also in the Netherlands. And we work with Nijrode. Nijrode is like a private business school.
Yeah.
And they hired us for 12 times in a year to give the leadership program more substance, to really talk about our story, where we're from, how we changed our lives, but also how we're fighting to change our business and how we're changing our mind to develop ourselves, educate ourselves to become other persons, and how they can use it and implement it in their leadership program. So we do this every month. So we had this morning 20 people over in our office to really give them also tools. Although they're all schooled in university, we are also from university of the street, so we can give them something back. Yeah, so it's very cool to see
really
that, because
free
10 years
public
ago,
education,
correct,
education.
correct. Yeah, paid by the government.
Yeah. So now I think we can move to the questions, right? Just want to give you one more time compliment for your storytelling skills.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for your TikTok. You just need to be on air every day, right? With all these stories, right? Cool. So guys, who have first question? Anybody? Because anybody has first question, I know, then there will be a lot of questions. Yeah. I will repeat the questions because we don't have microphones, so I will repeat your question. Yeah.
So how long does it take to train the person? Because if people constantly leaving, hopefully not returning back afterward. So how long does it take to teach the person, and does it affect your decision of hiring this person if you have only 2 months left?
Very good. So
good question.
just to repeat the question, so how long does it take to teach, to train the person, and does it impact your decision on taking people? If, let's say, 1 month left, yeah, doesn't make sense.
Yes and no. It takes, let us say, at least 2 months to really train, educate people. And we often say in the prison, we would love to have you from 3 to 6 months, because it's not only about teaching
Do whatever
skills.
you want.
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
72 hours.
Yeah, but what I want to do is after you learn the skills, I also want to get to know you, because I'm introducing you into my network of work, and I want to really tell them, listen, I know this guy, I vouch for him, he's a good one, and hire him. So that's also what we do. So we would love to have the 2 to 6 months gap. Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. And the last question, if somebody has a month, maybe we wouldn't do all the education inside the prison, but we would depend on the person where he's living, and the opportunity that we see, also do it in the office to help them otherwise. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one question, one idea. The question, what is the percentage of people engaged with you working in a prison, right? Who of them successfully getting out of this
Lifestyle.
they wrote a life and lifestyle they chosen before and became baristas or coffee makers somehow. Like 50% of the people have been engaged.
Yeah. I'm really proud to say this.
So just to repeat the question, hold with your idea, yeah, or idea is connected.
No.
Okay, yeah. So, what percentage of people after leaving the prison choosing the right way of?
You see a big smile, right? 97%.
97.
97%. Yeah. And not everybody wants to become a barista. So, as I said in the beginning, coffee, tea, bakery is just a vehicle. If you want to become a worker in a different company, distribution, logistics, whatever, we also know companies that do that. But we always say, if you have a dream or you want to come somewhere, are you willing to do 6 months different kind of job to get there? Because we can never, not always go from the prison to the best job in the world, but we could get there through many jobs. So if you're willing to wash the dishes in the zoo here in Amsterdam, in Artis, we have a job for you tomorrow. And then we can see in 1 year where we can take it from there. Okay. But now your idea.
I'm actually buying the coffee line.
He basically, this person introduced me on the next web conference.
Wow.
He brought me to your place, right?
From time to time, you guys put the impact 15, right? The impact sticker, so I can get discount.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct.
And I thought, okay, like majority of people who are buying the coffee, they do it most probably, right? Because they want to make an impact, because of the story and like also the everything which is connected to it. And for me, this kind of 15% discount makes less sense if I really want to make an impact, right? Then having, like, for example, personal story of someone get out of this journey, right? The journey.
Wow. Very good.
More like, maybe it can be handwritten or just printed story, then a card with it. Then I kind of feeding back that whatever I'm doing, buying or like subscription and so on, really impacts someone's life, right? Rather than just.
Yeah, you're completely right. I really love your idea.
Just to rephrase it, if I understood correctly. So now you're giving some discounts, like 15% impact. Like instead of giving discounts, probably you can give some kind of stories, successful stories of people who left the prison and basically customers helped to some extent, contributed into that. Right?
Yeah, and giving discount makes our impacting more difficult. So it's really crazy of giving this discount. So normally it has to be, we charge 15% extra, but this is what we do for it.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree with you, and we're also working on this at this moment. That giving really we feel that people don't buy our coffee because it's the best coffee or the worst coffee or the cheapest or the most expensive, but it has a reason. It has a reason of impacting, and this is, I think, the best reason for people to buy our products, to also give them the story back, because we have so many hundreds of stories to tell, and often we don't get the opportunity like today to really share this with a greater audience. So that's a very good idea that we're taking. Yeah.
Patrick.
How much does it cost the taxpayer to have one person in prison for 1 day?
How much does it cost for a taxpayer in Netherlands to keep one person in the prison for 1 day, right? So
yes.
Very good question.
Very good question. So now we're counting just the amount of euros of incarceration. So this is not using police, using fire departments, using other government systems, just
Detaining center,
sandwich, water, work. Yeah.
Walls,
making those things. Yeah. 300 euros
per day, per person. So just to give a small amount, the prison where we're working has 1,100 people detained. So just make it 1,000, just for the easy math. 300,000
a day.
Wow.
Not counting when people who are not longer incarcerated and get into trouble, it costs almost double because of police, government. Everybody has to be included. There has to be special protection for the family and the children, and they have to go to voedselbank. There's like a lot of things.
And the bureaucracy around that?
It's tremendous. So what we are saving the government or society is tremendous, because if you take the 100 people that we already helped in the past 4 years who are now not incarcerated but working to get their own money, earn their own money, how much money? Sorry? And pay tax. Yeah. We saved millions. Yeah. Millions. Yeah.
So you should not pay taxes at all, like this.
I think that's a good one. Somebody taking a note?
Mark, that's the second point.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Good question.
So
Thank you.
we have a question over there, and then I will move here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
My question kind of ties back to this question people when they get out of there. I was wondering, besides the obviously skills that you're teaching them to do the job, is there any mindfulness practice that you are offering for them, like some sort of coaching, some sort of, techniques that you're able to get them from one point of mind soul to another one?
Good question.
Yeah. So the question is, do you help anyhow on top of the craftsmanship training to that people like mindfulness training, some kind of coaching, helping with reintegration? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's 50% of our job, but we're not calling it coaching. In Dutch, we say we do everything between a tap on the shoulder and a kick on your butt, and everything that's in between. Yeah. So sometimes we can say really good job, and other times kick you because you need to change things. We don't do it from. None of us have go to school to learn these techniques, but we are really mentoring people, telling them that the way they're living is going for destruction. So to really see a difference and how to become different, that is all change of mindset. Be changed, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So it really starts here. And we don't do this on a manual based, but we do it. I had this before I came here. I had an hour two guys who work with us in our company, who they were released 3 months ago. They just got off their electronic bracelets, and we were talking about some things for their future. And we really had this discussion because one of the guys, his mindset was, everything is easy and we could do it like this. And I said to him, listen, this is not how it works. We have to really work hard. And if you want to get somewhere, you have to put in the hours, you have to invest. And if you don't do it, it doesn't come falling from a tree. Yeah? You have to work for it. And if you see somebody else putting in, of course, I said to him, we can all look to Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, but forget the amount of times these guys are training. I heard a documentary about Kobe Bryant, who was in the gym every morning at 5 o'clock before practice at 7. He already had 2 hours in. In the night at 3 o'clock, they were going, where's Kobe? He was in the gym doing the 7th training of that day. So this is what we really try to give the knowledge to the guys, that you really have to work for it. We don't have the skills to do it like social, like really like a psychiatric. We are not teach for that.
Basically, no person is taking care of offboarding them from an ex-life and onboarding them on a current life.
Yeah, just the streetwise way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we would love to have that if the government was willing to pay for that, or that we would ever grow to become a company like that. Because I really think that will be very necessary to have really somebody that coaches them throughout the days on more things. Also, how do you manage your money? And how do you manage and balance your time in life? Work and family.
Money, how you do interviews, a lot of social skills, right?
Yeah. So this is an application, right, for a job? Probably.
Think about that. You can also make impact.
Definitely, yeah. Nice.
So we have one more question there.
First off, I love your story.
Yeah, thank you.
Unlocking potential. So against that backdrop, I have 2 questions. One is, what kind of growth and potential would you like to unlock in your company, looking ahead in the many years to come? And as a link towards that, what kind of potential would you like to unlock in yourself as a leader?
2 good questions.
Yeah. So, what kind of potential you unlock in yourself and in your company? Right?
Yeah. So we do the company first.
Yeah, do company first.
This morning was asked by almost similar question like this. If you want to scale something, it has to also grow outside of you. And as a founder of the company, it's sometimes difficult because you have like a ceiling you could come and reach. And I think I did a nice job until now to get it to this place. But the people and the company deserve for it to scale to a higher level. So it's really about creating or the team or finding the people. And I think we found the people to bring it to another level for it to grow even bigger as my imagination. Because my level is maybe 500, but there's a great example in the United States. You have to really look at it on Google. It's called Homeboy Industries. And this is a Catholic priest who started in the 80s helping people in church. One guy who was also in a street gang. And then the second week, a second guy. And now they helped over 40,000 people to stop from gang violence and onto work. So thinking about opportunity, have a global company right now. So I think this would definitely be the goal for the company to make more impact. And
so
I think
not only 500 people, but 500,000 people.
500,000 people, or 1,000 people, or 5,000 people. But to really unlock that for somebody else to do that, because I think that potential has to be also in other people to help and bring it to that area. And I think that's connected to also to myself, because the question that was asked this morning, how do you cope with letting go? Because when the company is scaling and growing, it also becomes like a different company, like a different maybe DNA, you know. I think that will be the biggest challenge and will be the biggest challenge to also see people taking this same passion and vision to take it further. And that will be also for me like a disconnection, because it was never about me. I never had the idea ever that it will become even to this point that we are right now. It was not my goal. It was just helping one person. So I think that will be also a great... so I'm looking forward to that moment to disconnect.
Also, you can be an MBA professor at the end, you know, talking to the leaders.
Or a barista in Amsterdam in a small shop.
Good. Any other questions, guys? Drew? If no, we are over our regular time, but I could not stop you at any moment. Okay. So thank you very much,
You're welcome.
Jemmy.
Yeah.
So,
thank you, Sasha.
Round of applause to you.